Welcome to Comcast Local Edition. I'm Donna Richardson, and my guest this hour is Congressman Joe Sestak, representing Pennsylvania's 7th District. Congressman Sestak, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, Donna, again.
Now, the stimulus bill, it's worked to prevent the loss of many jobs. However, I know you think it should be expanded to encompass even more. So what are your thoughts about the package?
Right. You know, it's still intense out there in the economy, as all the viewers who are watching this know. But we have slowed down the economy from cratering. We were losing 700,000 jobs every month through January, February, and March. We lost 11,000 jobs last month. That's unacceptable.
Right.
We want to be creating jobs. So now what we want, and the initiatives that I have submitted, is to stimulate our economy. And we want to do that primarily through small businesses. 90% of all Pennsylvanians actually work in a small business. And the last time we had a recession, those companies that had literally less than 20 employees created 40% of all the new jobs. So we want to focus tax initiatives, tax credits, on small businesses. We want to be able to guarantee loans from banks by the federal government to them, so banks will begin lending, community banks, to them again. Small business administration loans. We want to raise the loans from just $3 million up to $5 million, because small businesses with great educated employees can do anything here in Pennsylvania. They just need access to capital. But Don, at the same time, we are having COBRA. When someone's laid off, as you know, they can pay to keep their whole health insurance, but they got to pay it all themselves, not their employer taking their share. In the economic stimulus bill, for 9 months, we said we'd pay 65%. That's running out. And I've had hundreds of letters call me about my initiative to extend it another 6 months. So there's other things we want to do to help those that are unemployed till they get jobs, as small businesses begin to soak up the almost 8 million people who have lost their jobs. And that's what we have to do, is get this economy going again.
And as you said, starting with the small businesses who have been hiring so many people. So you're the vice chair of the House Small Business Committee, and you've introduced the Jobs Act.
Yes.
And to help stimulate this economy.
And that initiative, the Jobs Act I submitted, encapsulated a number of other initiatives I've been working on about 5 or 6 months, some of which I mentioned. But if you create a job, a small business, you can get a 15% tax credit from the federal government if this passes. And that stimulates a small business where they might be a little hesitant to hire, but there's, wait a minute, 15% reduction in the wage, for me, I get back. That's how we want to incentivize us. This year, China grew about 8.5% in its gross domestic product. If it hadn't been for the economic stimulus bill, we would have fallen behind, a negative. We grew last quarter about 3.5%. But next year, we got to grow at 4 or 5%, because we've got to pass China, just like we used to do. I'll never forgive those who got us into the savage economic recession. However, the future is about creating jobs through small businesses, skilled workforce, and the right tax incentives. So we guarantee loans up to 98% from banks to small businesses, and let them have access to the capital so they can hire people with tax credits for hiring people, is what we want to do.
And so what needs to be done so that we can increase the employment rate and get to a healthier level? Is that by supporting the small businesses?
Without a question, that's what it is. What we want to do is also, and we have done this in the economic stimulus bill, is also have given loans and grants to the new emerging technological areas like clean energy. There's in my district a wonderful wind farm company. It's Spanish-owned. We want to create them U.S.-owned, so we are exporting to Spain and other countries our manufacturing. I want everything in the future to be marked made in Pennsylvania and the United States, of course. And so that's why small businesses grow up to large ones are so critical to this.
Well, Congressman, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks
Look forward
for
to seeing
having me,
you again.
Very much.
My guest this hour has been Congressman Joe Sestak, representing Pennsylvania's 7th District. And if you're interested in what Comcast is doing in your community, go to On Demand and click Get Local. For Comcast Local Edition, I'm Donna Richardson. Welcome to Comcast Local Edition. I'm Donna Richardson, and my guest this hour is Congressman Joe Sestak, representing Pennsylvania's 7th District. Congressman Sestak, thank you for joining me.
Good to be here again.
Now, Congressman Sestak, you're a member of the Health Subcommittee on Education and Labor. How did you feel with the passage of the Affordable Health Care America Act?
The sole reason, after 31 years in the military, that I entered the race for Congress and got onto that health committee was to ensure that everyone had the same type of health coverage that my daughter did when she was 4 years old and I was in the military, and she could be taken care of for a brain tumor. I wanted affordable, accessible health care for everyone because in Pennsylvania, in the last 8 years, their health premiums, our health premiums, have doubled.
Right.
And we lose about 700 Pennsylvanians out of health care coverage every day. I was a strong supporter of the House Health Bill because, first, it does cover everyone.
Right.
But it begins to slow down the growth of health premiums. It's absolutely critical to our economy where we lose about $160 billion a year to our gross domestic product, our productivity, because of the under and uninsured. And a major reason for that is that in Pennsylvania, 2 large corporations own 70% of all our private health care plans. It's almost a monopoly where they can dictate the price. It's the sole reason you want a public option,
Right.
not funded by the government. That's a choice to join, to create fair competition, because in the public option, you will not be paying $23 million to a CEO for their salary,
Right.
or when they depart, $70 million for the severance pay. Many other things like not advertising, so their administrative costs are less, and soon the monopolies have to be more fair in their pricing if they want to attract customers.
And not only will it make it more affordable for everyone, but that will, in essence, help the economy, because then the dollars you've been spending on health insurance you could use for something else.
Absolutely. Right now, today, if you own a small business, you're paying, or you're in a small business, and 90% of all Pennsylvanians work in a small business, they're paying, on average, 18% more for their health premiums than if you're in a large company. Because with 4 or 10 or 25 or 50 workers, you can't spread the risk if
Right.
1 or 2 have serious conditions. This lets them spread the risk by putting them on national pools that they can pick which one they want in, but they're
Exactly.
national pools. So we're going to slow it down. In fact, the Congressional Budget Office said there'll be, by 2016, a 12% reductions in premiums than if we don't do this. That's a primary reason to get it off the back of our small businesses and our workers so that they're able to invest their money in
Right.
what else they want for their children.
And as you were stating earlier, because of the uninsured and the underinsured, $160 billion, with a B, of lost productivity.
Absolutely. Think about that. I mean, in 10 years, that alone would be enough to cover the cost of this health care
Right.
reform bill. We have to compete globally. When I was in the military and we went off, as I did, to the war in Afghanistan, we were healthy and focused on our mission. We knew our families were covered, and the dividends back to this nation were enormous.
Right.
It needs to be the same for our working families. When the husband and wife go out the door, they're focused on their jobs, and they're able to be there healthy because their children are healthy.
Right.
And that's why we have to get back that $160 billion we lose in economic productivity. There's other things to be done in cost savings, and like in Medicare, to make sure that everyone has benefits, but that it's done as efficiently as possible. And those are the other types of ways that we're able to afford what we're doing.
Congressman, thank you so much.
Thanks
It's
for
always a
having me on
pleasure
this
to see you.
important topic.
My guest this hour has been Congressman Joe Sestak, representing Pennsylvania's 7th District. And if you're interested in what Comcast is doing in your community, go to On Demand and click Get Local. For Comcast Local Edition, I'm Donna Richardson.